So after Poland, I went to Hungary, Budapest, Hungary. That was from May 11th to May 19th, 2018. I'm saying this up front because some people keep asking me if I'm still traveling because I'm just slow at releasing the episodes. I am not traveling anymore. Please do not give me any recommendations or tips. It'll just remind me of everything that I missed while I was doing this stuff. Okay? Traveling, it's over. When I said I wasn't going to be good at this stuff, this is what I meant. I delivered these things very slow a year after they happened. You just have to accept it. Even my Instagram, it's a fucking mess, okay? I did not maintain it. And that's the thing where if you have good Instagram pics of traveling, girls will think you're cool. Yet I did not maintain it, all right? So just accept it. Let's move on. By the way, you'll notice something annoying in the episode, which is that I say Budapest as Budapest. It's something I learned while I was there, and while I was there, I did it. But I'm not doing it now. I'm saying Budapest. Why? Because I'm trying to minimize how much of an insufferable prick I appear to be, and deep down really am. Oh, by the way, someone told me the old town in Warsaw actually is all fake. On the last episode, I said, this seems like it's fake. It seems like I'm in medieval times or something. The restaurant, I mean. And someone told me it was like all reconstructed after World War II. So, thank you, Zach. I felt that way, but I didn't confirm it while I was there. Bad journalist. But anyway, name of the show isn't Bad Traveling Journalist. It's Bad Travel Podcast.
Most kéne visszagodni, nem bánni, nem habozni, és menni a józan észre. Egy másik útra lépni, egyszer sem visszanézni, a búcsú még ma nem fájna tár. Boldog vége, ennek úgyse lesz, nálam százszor jobbat érdemes. Most kéne abba hagyni.
I also don't watch the news, but after you stop watching the news because it makes you insane, what do you do to know about what's going on in the world? Yeah. Nothing. Because nobody else knows. If you ask somebody what's going on, they either know from watching the news or they're like you and they've alienated themselves so they don't have to deal with bullshit.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. I mean, I feel like there's only two archetypes for the news, right? Some guy lecturing you while like American flag is like behind him and he's got like a little tear coming down and he like, salutes a picture of Kennedy or something. And then the other one is like a guy yelling about how MS-13 doesn't respect America or something.
MS-13 has bought so few yellow ribbon stickers. I question the patriotism of MS-13.
Does MS-13 support the troops?
I think the Democrats should stop sending money to MS-13.
When you reach the final level, you just assume that the Democrats are MS-13.
MS-13? What's that? Some kind of rap group? Guys, am I right? This is conservative comedy. We really need to wipe them out.
I just think it's funny that conservative shit has to have a handicap on it, so like you'll watch it without just leaving the room. It's like, oh no, this is conservative. This is a Trump supporting show. It's like, oh okay, well then I'll just watch it because it's bad. It's like when you're playing Smash and someone's like, I suck. Put me at like 300% handicap.
Kevin, you have no reason to bring up our Smash battles during the podcast.
It's like when you're a piece of shit and you use Marth and you just counter all the time. You know what I mean, Derek?
Yeah, it's called a technique. You learn one. You play fucking Diddy Kong because it's just like chaotic. It makes no sense.
They fucking nerf.
Sometimes you eke out a win with Diddy Kong just because he's such a stupid character. Marth carries a sword. He's a prince. You understand?
I counted your Marth bullshit. When I play the fucking monkey with bananas.
As Marth, it's like I'm a prince. It's like I play water polo and shit. I have tea with my mate.
Yeah, I have a jetpack and I throw bananas at people. So, we walk two different paths, Derek, and we meet
That thing Marth says with his sword is one of the only phrases in Japanese I knew. So I just said it all the time in Japan. If
What is
somebody
it?
got too close to me, I'd push him away. Nida dikade, or something like that.
What do you know what it means?
Someone gets too close to me on this. No, I don't know what it means.
Let's use the counter.
It means
Everywhere
get the
we
fuck
go.
out of here.
Someone brushes you on the Tokyo subway, and you're just like, all right, final destination, no items, 3 stock. Let's do this, motherfucker.
I wasted years of my life on that game, but not enough.
I could have spent more time playing Smash.
My main regret is that I didn't spend more time in your basement playing Smash.
Yeah, sometimes we went to other basements.
It's a way of like opening yourself up, you know, getting involved in the community of basement dwellers, going from one basement to another, all of them after the sun is set. Oh yeah, turn off the lights so that the only thing I can see is the screen and I just lose all perspective of the humans around me.
Yeah, that was.
It's like, yeah, these are my friends.
Well, that was kind of like our shared VR, right? Our low tech shared VR, where we just, we're in pitch darkness with just a giant TV.
Well, we're still interacting through screens, so
Yeah, I've never met you. I don't think the listeners know that.
I mean, we've been in the same room, we've been around each other, we've talked face to face, but have we ever really met? No, there's always been a wall
We
there.
did meet that one time, I think, when I beat you in Smash.
No, I don't remember that happened.
Yeah, I
but-
think that's when we really met. Or like
Well,
really
I think we can
registered.
just move ahead and start talking about the actual things, and you can shut up and not bring that shit up ever again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do they have a Smash in? Let me check my notes. Budapest.
I don't know, but you're right that I am in Budapest.
Oh, is that how they say it?
Is how they pronounce it.
Budapest.
Budapest. Yeah, kind of like Sean Connery.
Okay. Cool.
Which is the only thing I learned about the city the entire week I've been here.
Is that they pronounce it like Sean Connery saying Budapest?
That's the only thing I know.
Okay. Well,
So if you have any questions about how they pronounce it and what actor they pronounce it like, I can answer those. But besides that,
yeah, Budapest is a river city, right?
no, now you're trying to finagle some more info out of me. Yes, it's a river city.
Did it
It's on the Danube.
with a what?
The Danube. What am I pronouncing it weird?
It might be the Danube.
Danube. Danube.
I'm a bit
It does-
I'm a bit of a river nerd.
It doesn't matter.
Just one of my things that I like to research in my spare time.
You know, we grew up next to the Mississippi River, and to me, a river's not that special. It is weird to go other places and they have a river and it's like not fucking disgusting. So that's kind of weird.
It's not disgusting, but then like you also see it and you're like, huh, Mississippi River's fucking huge.
The Danube is actually pretty big too.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it stretches through a shitload of countries, and then like it's pretty wide. At least it is in Budapest. And you got
Okay.
like boats out there, and there's like islands in the middle of the river you can go to and stuff. It's a impressive river, and on top of that, it doesn't look like diarrhea like the Mississippi.
Yeah, the Mississippi is cool because you get to, you just go to it and you just see like styrofoam coolers and like an entire tree just floating by. You kind of like daydream about the styrofoam getting to New Orleans. At least I did.
Now you kind of wish like I wish I was that.
I wish I
styrofoam.
was the styrofoam, and I wish I could go to New Orleans, and then from New Orleans the Caribbean, and then the Caribbean, I don't know, whatever the fuck. But I would imagine that Budapest, is it like our hometown, cobblestone, horse-drawn carriages, gas lighting in the streets, a guy with a big top hat and a cane walking around.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Our hometown, our like charming little river town in Illinois.
I don't remember there being horses.
Remember?
I don't know if there are I don't know if there's cobblestone. I think there might be like bricks.
Remember we go out into the streets with our little caps and our like finger our gloves, but they had like holes in them, and we go up to people and ask them for bowls.
I
of
do remember
porridge.
now. That was you. And I had a sailor suit and a big lolly.
Yeah.
And I would sort of traipse around.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You had a stroller that you pushed yourself in your big sailor suit, and I would go up and I would ask the well-to-do gentry of our hometown. I'd be like, "So can I have some money for my friends? Whatever." I can't do a Cockney accent, but you get the gist. I assume Budapest is like that. Is it like that?
Budapest is not like Alton, Illinois. Weirdly enough, I know, because it's actually, I think, the most beautiful city I've been to in the world.
Is this Alton?
No, Budapest. Good guess, though. I think I can also finally say in the world when I start talking about shit because I've been to Asia and I've been to Europe. So officially, I can now say stuff like, it's the best place I've been in the world. It never made sense when I said that when I had only been to Illinois and California. But now I've been all these places, I can act like a prick. It's called cultural capital.
So what's the better South? Southern Illinois or Southern California? I'll let you think about it. Let me ask you this: what makes Budapest such a standout city in terms of aesthetics?
You really should just like Google Budapest because it's insane. You know, when you look up any city on Google, like from fucking like Knoxville, Tennessee to San Diego to Houston or wherever, it'll show you like the skyline views and it'll show you the monuments and everything. And if you look at basically any city online, it'll be like, wow, this looks like a great city. And that's partially because of, I don't know, like search engine optimization, I'm sure, and like, you know, the tourism industry and like the best photos are selected to be at the top and all this stuff. If you look up pictures of Budapest, it's like that, but that's really how it looks everywhere in the entire city. Basically, you walk around and every fucking block is magical and full of beautiful old buildings in pristine condition and churches and monuments, and it all looks incredible to the point where I would want to take pictures of this stuff, but anytime I went to take a picture, it would be cutting out like half the shit that looks good because the entire 360 view of the place, it looks like a staged photo. I don't know how else to put it. So I barely took any pictures while I was there just because any picture I took would be incredible, but it would also be missing half the stuff I wanted in the photograph.
Yeah.
There was some graffiti someone drew a guy, and then somebody came back later and drew a dick on the guy. And I took a picture of that.
Nice. Like so this is like a common critique of like American cities, and I guess just, you know, a lot of like North American cities in general, is that from afar it's impressive because you see the skyline and you're like, wow. But when you get down to the street level, it's spread out, car-centric, strip malls, you know, skyscrapers with no real entrance, just like sort of like bleak and desolate place where there's no real street life. This is a common criticism of why like American cities suck, where there's like this siren song with like you said, those pictures where you're like, wow, what a glistening modern city, and then you get into it and it's like a Chipotle and a highway and you're like, what the fuck? You know, versus like, yeah, like I guess Budapest, which would be like, you know, a traditional city, so, you know, an old world city basically.
When I was first coming into the city, I was coming in a bus from like Krakow. The suburbs kind of look like Poland, so at first I was like, well, this ain't that interesting. I guess all of Europe is kind of the same. Fixing to be bummed out. Once you get into the city proper, out of just like rural Hungary, it's bustling. I think I can officially call it bustling. There's lots of people moving around on the streets. There's food stalls and there's events happening everywhere. There's people out drinking. There's shitloads of tourists. And again, it's just like the architectural beauty of the city keeps all of that stuff from just becoming like oh great, I'm just showing up to a touristy party city. Because, you know, even if you're walking past a bunch of bars and shit, you look up and you see like, I don't know, a beautiful old, you know, any of the buildings like on any block in Budapest would be like, oh, this is the prettiest building in the city, in any other city. Mm-hmm. but they're all fucking next to each other in Budapest.
It's funny because the way you describe it, it sounds like you're getting angry. You're like, oh, look, another charming, beautiful church. Oh, great, another wonderful pub. Oh, I love this, you know.
Well, I'm pissed off. Yeah, of course. I'm desensitized now for the rest of my life.
Yeah, people will be like, "Oh, you should go check out this city. It's so cool and hip and up and coming." And then you go there and it's like, "Oh yeah, I guess they got some different art on the Chipotle."
Well, I'm really more about the Panera Bread Co. art.
Yeah, well,
I like to see tasteful photographs of panini and shit like that.
well, I mean, Panera. I didn't mention Panera because it's a bit avant-garde, and I didn't want to go, down that path. I wanted.
Oh yeah, it's a bit pop art.
Yeah, I didn't want to deviate too much because I feel like you have to have a more of a refined taste for the art of Panera. But I think Chipotle.
That's true.
Chipotle is a good common ground because the only art they have is that thing that has holes cut into it that they glue to the wall. Like what's the ratio of like cars to like bikes to walking to transit like?
There's a lot of people on bikes. There's a lot of people on foot. I mean, the only time I wasn't on foot was the bus into Budapest. Like the center of the city, the stuff I wanted to walk to, the stuff I wanted to see was all pretty much within walking range. And sometimes I was walking like an hour. It wasn't a problem. I don't mind walking for a spell if I'm looking around and I see beautiful stuff. And as I'm walking, the roads are wide, the paths are wide. It was nice. It's a pleasant experience to walk around Budapest. Like the contrast in Poland, it wasn't great for walking, just because like the sidewalks are kind of shitty or whatever.
So when you said you were walking around Budapest and you had like stuff to see, I mean, what were you going to check out?
One of the first things I did was I went to the Budapest thermal bath. Have you heard of this?
No, what is that?
So Hungary prides itself on their thermal baths. Like they have a bunch of underwater like hot springs, I guess. So they've got this whole tradition of having public baths. Kind of like in Korea or Japan, they have like the public bath tradition. Hungary has the same thing. They have the largest thermal cave system, I think, in the world. So one of the first things I did was I went to this place called and I'm not going to pronounce this right, so whatever, the szechenyi baths. The
what?
I guess I could just say anything, right? It doesn't matter what I say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if people are listening and if the intersection of the people who listen to this podcast and the intersection of people who also are going to go.
Hold
to
on,
Budapest,
I'm just going to look it up. Shh.
Just think it's funny. It's like. Budapest is the most beautiful city in the world. What'd you do when you were there? I'm not sure.
Szechenyi.
Szechenyi?
Yeah. So I went to like the most recommended, most famous, largest one, the szechenyi baths. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if I didn't pronounce that right. I'll just say right off the bat, this is the third best public bath I've been to in the world.
Third best?
Out of 3.
So last place.
Yeah. It was the worst one. It was the first worst.
So the first two was it that one in Busan?
Yeah.
This is the one in Busan?
Korea won kind of on variety because it had a bunch of different pools at different temperatures, from cool to warm to hot. And a lot of different rooms you can chill out in, saunas, steam rooms. Everyone's in bath clothes, enjoying themselves. Japan, also very nice. It's also sex segregated, and you get naked, and there's just one main pool at the onsen, but it was outside, so it's cool, good vibes. The szechenyi baths, not as cool. First of all, it was $20 fucking.
Okay. I mean, what was it like? What was the setup?
You walk in and you change in a locker room, just like in Korea and Japan, but you don't get naked. Red flag number 1. If you're not getting naked at the public bath, what's the point?
Okay. So what do? You get a swimsuit or something?
Swim trunks. And then you go up and they have a bunch of different pools, kind of like they had the Korean bath, but all the pools were like fucking lukewarm. I got into a bunch of different ones, and they were all like the same temperature. They were like 80 degrees.
Oh, well,
And
that's not. It's not that relaxing.
It's not great. Also, I associate it with like being in the bath after it's gone cold or something.
Yeah.
Like in Korea, you could go to ones that were like fucking really hot, but this one they were like all the same temperature, so it was disappointing. It just felt like pea water. And then after you're in like the little pools, you can go outside to like the main public bath. And again, it's not sex segregated. There's men and women out there. They're all wearing their swim clothes. It's chaos. It's not. I'm just saying. Like,
I love your. First of all, I saw women. No thanks.
No, thank you. Not at the fucking public bath.
Well, it just sounds like a water park.
Exactly. Yes. You go in. You get in the pool, and after a second, you're like, wait a minute. This is just a fucking lukewarm public pool.
Yeah.
It's like not even that relaxing.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Derek, glad you made it. The wave pool's about to start. Did you get your raft?
I would go down like a water slide that was like jacuzzi level of water heat. That would be kind of fun.
It drives you
Like
into
a steaming
jacuzzi.
water slide.
Drives you in a jacuzzi. It's like super hot. You're like, fuck. You get like jacuzzi water in your eyes. It's like burning.
But that would be kind of cool. But I felt weird. I mean, just because I was, I read in a lot of like guides that like this is the thing to do when you're in Budapest. Coming from the other public baths, this one totally sucked. I mean,
Yeah, it sounds.
it just seemed pointless. It was like medium relaxing. It did look cool. The bath looked cool, so it gets points for that because it was like outside and it had kind of like this classical, almost like Roman architecture look about the bath.
Just getting in it and being in it all just sucked, though.
No, I mean, like, people were fucking splashing and stuff. It's like, hey, am I the only one here to relax?
I'm here to relax.
And you guys get your swim trunks off. Come on, I want to see your junk. How am I supposed to relax unless I look around and see nude men? It's stupid.
Yeah. What a bummer. I mean, well, that's probably the draw, though, right? I mean, that's how they get you. I mean, this is the natural shit, right? It's like, oh, it's a natural spring, and then you get it there and it sucks, and then you're supposed to be like, oh, well, it's natural. Versus like, yeah, Korea, where they like have fucking machines that make sure the bath stays at 120 degrees the whole time or whatever. It's like, oh, that's better.
Yeah, well, the robots know better.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. We should have everything be fucking calculated, computer programmed. I don't care about getting in touch with nature. I'm in the middle of a city. You're not going to trick me into thinking I'm in touch with nature.
Yeah. It's
But also there's like the medicinal effects because of like the mineral content. But even if that is true, debatable probably, who gives a shit? Like if you're not well, you don't have to take a bath, take medicine. Who cares about medicinal effects you're getting from water? If you're sick, stay away from the fucking public bath. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't even be there. So who needs it for medicinal effects? No one.
this wave pool in Budapest will cure my rickets.
Hi, I'm here for the pool that cures poison ivy. I've already jumped in, so just
I'm just trying to close up this open wound I have. I think I'll get some mineral water in this bad boy.
I always think it's funny when they have those signs at public pools that are like, if you had diarrhea in the past, whatever, don't get in the public pool.
Fucking nanny state.
They should have a separate pool for people with diarrhea, so all those people can swim together.
I agree.
They should have a pool that's like pink. It's just like fucking Pepto-Bismol. I would swan dive into that, pop my hat out of the water, spit out some Pepto-Bismol.
You come out like a fucking mug monster, just covered in pink slime, just yelling diarrhea at the top of your lungs.
That's a medicinal bath right there. I mean, come on.
It's just very calm, and then you just emerge from it, and you're like, diarrhea.
I know you guys thought the Pepto-Bismol pool was safe, but there's a pocket of diarrhea.
Oh, man. So, yeah, it doesn't sound like the bath was that good.
It was fine, but I can take that kind of bath at home.
Yeah.
Actually, it'd be better at home because I would be naked. And that's the way you're supposed to take a bath.
It's true. So, what do you rate the Hungarian bath experience?
I don't know. I guess go to it and look at the bath because the architecture is cool, but it kind of feels like a waste of time and money to me. I mean, there's, like I said, tons of buildings and places in Budapest are gorgeous. The bath is also gorgeous, but it's a shitty bath. So, I don't know. You don't have to go.
Cool.
Just run your head under the sink and then go for a jog. You know, it's fine.
All right.
Tell people you went to the baths. I mean, they won't know. It doesn't matter. I will say that speaking again of like Budapest and it looking nice, is that I kind of got this vibe that it's sort of like Europe, the city, you know, just because of the way it looks. It kind of looks like a generic European city in some ways. And I didn't know this until after getting there, but I was on a tour and they mentioned the fact that shitloads of Hollywood movies are like shot in Budapest and it just serves as Europe. This is Europe.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, it's probably cheaper than like filming in London or Paris or some shit like that.
I have a list here, the movies they've shot there. Transporter 3, Mission Impossible 3, Spy, The Martian, Blade Runner 2049, Hellboy 2, World War Z, and my favorite, Mortal Kombat 1995. It's been disguised as Paris, Vienna, Moscow, Berlin, Buenos Aires, and London. And in the film Munich, it was disguised as Rome, Paris, and London. So one film, they did 3 different locations for Budapest, none of which were Budapest.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, too, because like, I don't think anyone has any idea of like historic landmarks of Budapest.
I also think, you know, most movies are made for Americans and they just don't fucking know.
Yeah.
They would never know. But when I was walking around the city, I did feel like, oh, this is familiar. So maybe like the reason it felt like a generic European city is just because it's been marketed that way.
I think they should shoot more movies in like Toledo.
Expand on that.
That's it. It's the only thought I have. It's my only belief.
One thing I hate about Budapest, a lot of the public bathrooms like have like a lady sitting there with a little tray. You have to give her money before you can go in and tinkle.
What?
You have to pay to use public bathrooms.
I guess that's a better system than having to be guilted into buying something.
I don't know. I mean,
I think I was in DC and I got off the metro and I went into like a chain donut shop and I was like, "Hey, I need to use your bathroom." And they're like, "Sorry, you have to buy something." So then I bought a donut. I was like, "What's the cheapest donut you have?" And they were like, "This one." And then I bought it. And I immediately threw it away in front of them. And I said, "Okay, can I have the bathroom code?" What was the point, you know?
And then after you used the bathroom, you walked out and you took your donut out of the trash and ate it and said, "Thank you, goodbye."
It's just like, I would prefer the honesty of, I don't want you in here unless you're going to spend money. So give this person money that's outside of the bathroom.
I guess, but it just makes me feel like I guess that's what I am doing. I'm paying to take my dick out and piss, and it just feels weird to involve money in that transaction. It makes me feel like a hoe. I don't want money to be involved in it. This is a natural, you know. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, and you're cheapening it by making me pay for it.
Yeah.
What happens between a man and his toilet, you know?
Yeah,
It's the same thing in Poland. So I don't know. It's just like it's a little vulgar to me. This is the one thing in Europe that's really stuck in my craw is like paying to go to the bathroom. Ugh.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, like here, it's like you either have to buy something or they don't have one.
I would rather buy a $9 sandwich. What I do is I go into a restaurant, I flag down a waiter, I order, I wait 25 minutes for them to get my food, I eat the entire meal, and by then I've already pissed myself. The problem solved.
You're like, damn, I gotta piss. You go into a 5-star French restaurant. They like are reading the wine menu to you for like 10 minutes. You get a nice Chardonnay.
This is a 7-course meal, and the bathroom will be locked during the entire meal, sir.
And you're like, I would have it no other way. For appetizer, we have a nice steak tartare reduction with balsamic vinegar and pizza rolls.
I would eat a gourmet pizza roll.
You mean one? Just one on a plate?
Well, a gourmet pizza roll would be like the size of your fist. Right?
This pizza roll is artisan.
Kevin, we can make that happen. It's not outside the realm of possibility.
Let's do it, dude.
I've always wanted to like open up a really fancy restaurant, and then like just in the back, like in the kitchen, it's just like a fucking fridge full of lean cuisine. And like me and another guy just plate it in a way that makes it look fancy. Because some of those like microwave meals, hey, they're not too bad, you know. Some of them can be pretty tasty if you pick the right one. And you know, I think if you plate them the right way, dude, you're looking at an insane markup. You charge somebody $25 for a $2 meal. You're going to be solvent. You're going to be one of the restaurants that survives.
Sir, here is your plastic tray and your little red plastic spread utensil. You'll notice there are some crackers and slices of ham and cheese in each compartment of the plastic container. And here is your chocolate yoo-hoo. Thank you.
I could probably be suckered into paying like $8 for a Lunchable with table service.
Here is your unmicrowaved frozen Hot Pocket.
And on the television,
and your blowtorch.
that's directly in front of you, we have a rerun. It looks like this is...
Tonight, our selection will be Growing Pains. And I think after that, we might show a rerun of Friends.
Again, that could be a restaurant concept.
Yeah.
Sad TV dinner, the restaurant.
People would pay. They'd be like, oh my God, this is so crazy. We'd be in back just counting like wads of cash. Just rubbing it all over our bodies. That would last
get psoriasis.
Last a week before the novelty wore off. We had to burn it for insurance money.
Let's see. What's something I actually did in Budapest? Oh, I went on a tour.
A tour of just the city?
Budapest.
Okay.
Lots of cities have like the free walking tour, and I went on the free walking tour.
Okay.
I mean, it's not entirely free. You still tip them at the end.
Like, what is it? Like the whole city? Is it a segment of the city? Is it like an all-day thing?
The tour was like 2 hours long, and it was basically we walked around the center of the city. We walked from one side, the Pest side, to the Buda side. I don't know if I mentioned that yet, but Budapest is like literally there's a district called Buda and there's a district called Pest, and so the city's Budapest.
I like that. It's simple.
Yeah, it just works.
Do you know what those words mean? Buddha and
No.
Pest, I mean. Okay.
Do you?
No.
Then don't bring it up. You can't ask me questions. You absolutely cannot ask me questions that depend on me having like a factual understanding of the thing I have experienced. That's not how I interact with the world, okay?
I didn't know if they covered it in the tour because you got the info.
Maybe they did, but I wasn't paying attention.
Okay.
I stayed on like the Pest side, which is kind of like where, I don't know, all the action is, you know? That's where like all the bars and restaurants and all that shit is. It's also cheaper. There's a lot more stuff going on. The Buddha side is like more expensive, historical. During the tour, they said it costs basically twice as much to have an apartment on the Buddha side than on the Pest side. And that's where like all their celebrities and politicians live. The tour guide said, the only positive thing about staying on the Pest side is you get to look at Buddha.
Wow.
Pretty fucking harsh.
That is pretty bad, yeah.
But it is true. Like, the Buddha side that's the side I was facing most of the time because I was on the Pest side, and it's gorgeous. And then you go over to the Buddha side, and, like, it's pretty, but not as much to do there. I'd rather be on the Pest side.
Did she go into like any like Hungarian history, like of like how?
Oh yeah. But we're not going to talk about all that.
Okay.
Read a book.
Okay.
One thing she did say that I thought was interesting is she said the Hungarian language is the second most difficult language in the world. When I was in Poland, they said something like that too. I think Europeans just like the idea of having like fucking difficult languages.
Hungarian is the hardest language, and that's why only we can learn it because we have huge brains.
Yeah, but they also all speak English, so
Yeah, I think it's probably because no one's going to like take the time to learn Hungarian. If you say stuff like that, it's like, oh well.
I don't know if it's
Fuck
difficult
it,
or not to learn. I didn't try to learn it, but there was one thing that was like really fucking confusing. The way they say hello is see ya.
Okay.
Like, for real. So, and I didn't know that at first. So when I would walk into coffee shops or whatever, the first thing they would say is see ya.
The Hungarian for hello is goodbye and never talk to me again. How many times did that slip you up before you like caught on? Was it like just once?
Maybe like once or twice. But then on the tour, they were sort of talking about it's see ya for hello. And other times I thought they were saying hello, but they were saying goodbye because their goodbye is hello.
No, it's not.
Yes, I'm not making this shit up. It's see ya for hello, and hello is goodbye.
No, come on. There's no way.
When you leave a place in Hungary, they say hello. It's Hullo.
How are you is Hodgevodge.
Well, I might have heard that.
Atlantable Vajoke. Atlantable Vajok. That means I am from Atlanta.
Why are you looking up how to say I'm from Atlanta?
It's just in this guide for some reason. Can't find goodbye.
Okay, it's spelled Szia. Sia. Another kind of funny thing about Hungarian is sometimes to say goodbye, they say pussy pussy. I'm not making this up.
No, they don't.
Pussy pussy. It means like kiss kiss, you know, like how like French people say bisou bisou or whatever the fuck. For Hungarians, it's
see ya.
pussy pussy.
See ya. Hello. Pussy pussy.
I was just trying to search on Google to
Search
like
pussy,
verify
pussy.
this. Because that's what the tour guy had told me, so I didn't have anywhere of like
This is like if
verifying it
this is like if
besides,
the Little Caesars mascot did a porno.
Well, what I specifically typed into Google search was Hungarian pussy. So I didn't find what I was looking for.
Didn't find it, huh?
Didn't find it. Found something else.
Try a pussy Hungarian.
So I met somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, like, part of going on these tours is, like, it's like a big group, and it's a bunch of different travelers from all over the world, so it's, like, an easy place to, like, pick up friends to hang out with or whatever. While we were doing this tour, there was this, like, Russian girl from St. Petersburg, and I kind of, like, overheard her talking to some other people. I said a few things to her, like, hey, look at this or whatever. We talked a little bit, and but I didn't really have anything interesting to say to her. But then I heard her talking to somebody about how her sister went to North Korea, and she's talking to this guy who I guess is from South Korea. And so I chime in kind of like through the guy. I'm like, hey, you're from Korea, huh? I was just there. And so I get to talking to the guy and everything and have a whole conversation with him. And then after like a couple of minutes, I look around and the Russian girl's gone.
Nice.
I think she may have left the tour even. I'm not really sure what happened. What I like to imagine happened is she was so offended that I was talking to the Korean guy instead of her that she ran off back to her hotel and killed herself.
That's what happened.
It's probably what happened. But it's okay because I ended up making friends with the guy from Korea because he's actually really interesting. You know, we started talking about like the normal shit like where'd you go in Korea? How'd you like Seoul? Busan's different from Seoul, right? And then all that stupid stuff. And this guy, I'm going to give him a name. What should I call him?
John Smith.
Johnny?
Yeah.
Let's call him Johnny. So Johnny has an interesting story. He is in Berlin studying. He's kind of a little bit older. He's like in his mid-30s. He's in Berlin studying the unification of East and West Berlin so that he can write a report about unification for the South Korean government. He's an employee of the South Korean government, and his job is he's working on unification with North Korea.
Yeah.
So he went to Berlin to study unification. That's pretty cool. Way more interesting than that girl from St. Petersburg, for sure. Boy, am I glad I didn't have to talk to her.
Yeah, thank
And
God.
her stupid sister. But so Johnny is in Berlin, and he's like interviewing people about the unification and how it all went down. Like he's interviewing like some of the surviving people that actually made that happen and what the process was like. And I guess after a couple of weeks of doing this, he kind of realized, this is what he's telling me, he kind of realized that the work he's doing, these interviews, this report he's going to write, it's not going to be valuable to his country. Like it's just a totally different situation, and it's not gonna be that useful for his job. And so then what he's doing
Going clubbing.
is he's basically he's taking South Korean government money and he's just traveling Europe, and they think he's still in Berlin studying and interviewing people and writing this report, which he hasn't started to write.
Oh, dude, don't narc on him.
I'm not. That's why I'm calling him Johnny. Come on.
You know one of our biggest listening groups is the South Korean government. They're going to piece this together.
I mean, they certainly will after I send them name and a photograph. No, but I just think I thought that was like, that's so cool and so irresponsible that I instantly related to this guy, because like I would do that. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. That's what you should do. You should somehow get government funding to go to Berlin to look into unification of St. Louis and East St. Louis.
Yeah, just blow it off and be like, fuck it, I'm traveling. I'm going to Budapest.
Yeah, you just get back, you're like hungover and like have sunglasses on. You're like, sure, it's a mess. And they're like, so what'd you learn? You're like, we should do it. Fuck it.
Yeah, I interviewed the guys. They said, go nuts. Hell, what's the worst that could happen is what they said.
Yeah. They said this, get this, boss. They said this. They said, don't be a pussy. Just fucking do it.
They said Hungarians say pussy pussy. That's the one thing I learned.
It's like you're giving a book report in the second grade. You're like, I learned that there's many kinds of stuff that happens, and we should do the good one.
He did say, I asked him, and he said he's like optimistic about North Korea now, because he says their new regime is kind of less unpredictable than their old one, and he thinks that they'll at least have stability maybe between the two countries. The way he was framing it was like, I get to kind of, maybe I can kick back a little bit.
Wow, that's a very, very targeted aggression against Kim Il-sung. Not Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il. It's like, that's, it's unpredictable just because he, invites Madeleine Albright over to give him a basketball and watch movies in his basement.
But he was cool because he was like talking about how when the former prime minister got like, there was that whole scandal and everything.
Oh, yeah, with the cult.
Yeah. We talked about K-pop. We talked about that band Twice. Remember I sent you that song?
Me Likey Likey. I listen to it every day.
And we talked about Korean film, how his wife likes Paris, but he doesn't like Paris. We talked about the public baths in Hungary and how they suck compared to the ones in Korea.
Nice.
We agreed on that point. He was like, yeah, I went there and it was just, I had to wear my swimming trunks, and I was like, it's bullshit, right, man?
You didn't even get naked.
You didn't get naked? Fucking sucks. What kind of public bath is this?
Yeah.
So after the tour ended, we were kind of already talking throughout the tour, so I didn't learn anything. And then so we hung out after that. We grabbed a coffee and everything. Actually, later on, we did see we saw the Russian girl again. We like ran into her, and she was like hanging out with an Aussie from the tour, and we just ignored them.
Yeah.
You're not going to be part of our world, not now.
Yeah. We got a good thing.
You're not going to
here.
come between me and Johnny, is what I said.
Step off, toots.
So it was really cool, and he had an interesting perspective. He said he wants to move to L.A.
Why?
Yeah. Well, he wants to like work in the embassy.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck, Johnny. I thought it'd been funny. It'd been funny if he was like, "Yeah, I want to just make it to LA. Here, could you read my script?"
Fuck, I can't escape it.
You know anybody you can give my script to?
If I can go to fucking Hungary and still run into the same kind of person, it just kill me now.
It's so cool, Derek, that you went to South Korea and we both ate the same bath. Could you know anybody that would like this web series I made?
You know, the important thing is we're getting it out there. You know, it doesn't matter if it makes money. It's the exposure.
Here's my headshot. Can you just,
Oh, I've got a headshot for you.
Johnny sounds cool though. I hope he makes it to old
I hope he makes it.
Los Angeles.
Budapest also has this other thing called ruin bars. Do you know what this is?
No.
They're kind of cool. The basic idea is that people wanted like a cheap place to drink, and so they opened up bars like in abandoned like buildings that used to be like sort of communist, like socialist housing blocks. So they would open up a bar in an abandoned building and like get a bunch of their grandparents' furniture, put it in the space, and then it basically looks kind of cool, like a dilapidated, kind of like the dilapidated apartment building I stayed at in Krakow, just like old style, peeling wallpaper. Sometimes there's graffiti on the inside, old furniture, run down, kind of shitholes. Budapest has a bunch of these ruin bars, and they kind of become a thing. They only started in like 2004, so they're not that, traditional. But it is interesting to like go into a sort of shitty looking dump, a thing in like an abandoned building, and there's like a sign that says like "Don't disturb the neighbors" and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, was it crowded?
Yeah, actually, there were like tons of tourists.
Cool.
So it's kind of cool because I liked seeing like the old shitty building and that. But on the other hand, it's like, well, isn't this just a shitty building that you? I mean, like it's just a shitty building that you have put a bar in. So why? It's like you're tricking me into going to a shittier bar than normal.
So it's like a dive bar that's a tourist attraction?
Basically.
Okay.
And there's so many tourists that go to them. Like I went to a few, and one was just like a normal bar in a shitty building. Like it even looked nice. So like, well, what's the point?
That's actually brilliant. If like all the bartenders got together and were like, let's turn our bars into tourist locations. Yeah. It's just like, yeah, this is a ruin bar.
Just like fucking tear up the walls and spray graffiti and like make it look like a real dump, and then tell people it's like, it's history or whatever.
Yeah. 2 drink minimum.
One of them had like a stripped down Trabant, like in the outdoor patio. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's like the official car of East Germany. It was like a mass produced like piece of shit.
Was that cubic looking car? Like a block on wheels?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, those are the old Soviet cars. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It has 26 horsepower and goes from 0 to 55 in 21 seconds. It doesn't go to 60. The body is Duraplast, which is like fiberglass, but it's made out of recycled material and cotton waste. And according to Wikipedia...
You hear that? That's pure cotton waste. Only the finest.
And according to Wikipedia, there's an urban myth that it was made out of, quote, corrugated cardboard.
You can drive it when the sun is up, the sun is down. Don't drive it while it's raining. You can drive it any time you want.
Don't drive it too fast for too long. It will explode.
But don't drive it too slow. It doesn't like that either. Keep it at a nice 35. Don't park it. Just jump out and let it roll.
The Trabant had a unique feature where the exhaust pipe was directly in front of the steering wheel.
The engineers thought, well, the exhaust is hot enough. We don't need a heater.
But like I saw a couple of those, like a couple Trabants and like other communist era cars that people were like driving around. And I was kind of thinking like, well, fuck, they can't be that bad if they're still running. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's like an interesting aesthetic and practical like interest in the idea of like the cheapest, shittiest mass production thing that everybody just had. I mean, and guys are still fixing these things up and driving them around, at least in Budapest. So there must be some kind of fondness there. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's like a very specific aesthetic, right? I mean, like you see one of those cars, you're like, I am somewhere in the former Soviet bloc.
Right.
You know?
This is a car that was not made with love, and no one has loved it, except by like sheer force of will.
Yeah, they say, you know, most of the other cars they make it on a 5-year plan, but this one, it's 10-year.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whew. Whew, mama.
Hot diggity dog.
Let's see. I should talk about what kind of food they have in Hungary and Budapest. They have goulash.
What's goulash?
It's like a meat stew. It's like a red meat stew. Sometimes it's soupy. Sometimes it's more stew-like. I think it's popular just because it has a nice name, goulash. Goulash tastes like how it feels when you say the word goulash. Go ahead, give it a shot.
Goulash.
How was that?
It felt kind of chunky.
That's right. You nailed it. Paprika's common. They have like something called paprika chicken, which is like it has like a curry-like sauce. It's pretty good. They have like crepes in a sauce. They have this thing called langos, which is like big flat fried bread, like a donut, and they traditionally cover it like in sour cream and shredded cheese. So it's just like a fucking heart attack.
Just fuck my shit up, buddy.
It tastes kind of good, but it's like overwhelming and there's too much of it. It's like bigger than both of my hands put together with my fingers spread out. They're huge. And then all around Budapest, there's like lots of Turkish food, kebab places.
Hell yeah. Get a doner kebab with that yogurt drink.
Oh yeah, the yogurt drink, very good.
So good.
I only recently had that. It's like drinking the fucking juice from a cottage cheese.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's good. It's powerful.
But was there any like street food there? Like, what was the quick eats?
They had like chimney cake, which is kind of like a donut that looks like a lint roller. It wasn't that great. They also
What do
had
you
like
got,
lots
mister?
of
You're just in luck. I've got chimney cake. It's covered in soot.
you can eat it, or if you've got cat hair on your sweater, takes care of it.
2 for 1.
They had lots of different kinds of food, though. I mean, like I said, it feels like a pretty international city. So they had like Italian food and Greek food and different kinds of Asian food. I think the bases were pretty well covered, and everything I ate there was pretty good. So, gets a thumbs up for me as far as like a food type city.
Okay.
Oh, another thing I did was I went to these caves because Budapest has like a big natural cave system, and I went there and I had to wait like an hour to actually get on the tour. It was just me and the guide and no one else. Like nobody else showed up. At least for the English tour. There was like a Hungarian tour that had like 20 people, and then the English tour was just like me and the guide.
So, you got any questions?
We walked down in the cave and it's just me and her, and she's like maybe like 2 or 3 years younger than me. Mm-hmm. And she's like sort of presenting the cave like, and this is the thing, and she's like doing all like, this is the this, and this cave was, talking that way. And she was doing that for a minute. I was like, you can just talk normal. It's fine. You don't have, like, I was like, don't feel like you have to treat this like it's a tour group because I'm just one person. They do this thing whenever you like tour caves where it's like they point at a rock and they're like, they call this rock the witch because it looks like a witch.
Oh, that crap.
Yeah, like that's most of what it is. And
they call this
like,
one the Rock because it looks like the Rock. Not a rock, but the Rock, like Dwayne Johnson. It looks like
and
Dwayne
if
Johnson.
you see there on the corner, that's David Spade growing out of him. But she was doing all that shit, and I was kind of like, hey, you don't really have to do that. I mean, I know what shapes are, you know.
You're like the worst tour goer. You don't have to do the tour, honestly. Just don't.
Let's just walk through the dark cave in silence. It's something we can both enjoy.
Can you leave? I'm trying to enjoy this cave.
Well, it's like it's not like the fucking rock is actually like embedded with the spirit of a raven or something. You don't have to tell me a rock looks like a raven. I know what shapes are. I know what things look like. Fuck, why don't we just go outside and like point at clouds and say what we think they look like? It's lame. Like this is for children. I'm interested in the real shit.
Like standing silently and pointing at a rock and being like, yeah, nice.
Well, I told her like, look, I don't want to know about like what the rocks look like.
I know this is a cave tour, but I don't give a shit about the cave.
No, I was like, tell me about like exploring the cave, and specifically like, did anybody die in cave-ins? Tell me cool stuff.
Is it haunted?
Stuff that I like. Yeah, is it haunted? Are there murderers hiding out? Is there treasure? You know, give me the juicy deets.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, oh, here's something interesting. The cave was used as a hospital for some time, and people with difficulty breathing to this very day still come to the cave daily for therapeutic sessions because the air is so clean in the cave. And I said, why would the air be clean in a cave? And she, I think there was some kind of language issue because she wasn't able to totally describe why air is clean in caves. I'm sure there's a scientific reason, but I couldn't understand it. I was just like, what happens in the cave that cleans the air? And she's like, you know, talking about like where the air comes from, and I'm like, it doesn't come from the ground, does it? And we just don't know. I think neither one of us know what we're talking about.
It's got cave magic.
So we kind of run out of things to talk about because she can't explain the air science, and I don't care about shapes. So we're just walking through the cave in the dark, and it's nice. You know, it's fine. It's a good time. And then I'm like, so what's it like here? Like, what's the economic situation like? And she's like, oh,
in
boy,
the cave? Oh, pretty bad.
We're at 50% unemployment if we count you in the cave. But she was saying it kind of sucks right now. And a lot of people have to, work several jobs and everything. It's like frustrating. I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds rough. And people are homeless and whatnot. And she's like, yeah, there's some homeless people. And I was like, huh. And then
she
I
was like, I usually go into the cave to forget that kind of thing.
Yeah, let them go in the cave. No one has to be homeless. You have the biggest cave system, remember? You told me that.
I was saying she goes into the cave to forget about this society's troubles.
Yeah, she wants to look at rocks that look like birds, and I've fucked it all up by bringing up. But so I was kind of like, hey, under socialism, was anybody homeless?
Did you whisper it in the cave?
And she was like, I mean, no, not technically. I mean, everybody technically had a job, but sometimes they were just pretend jobs, where you would clock in and then you would basically sit around for like 5 or 6 hours and then you would clock out and,
Thank God that doesn't happen anymore. Thank God there are no office buildings filled with people alt-tabbing between Excel and Facebook.
I'm not here to I don't know anything about Hungary's socialism. I'm not here to defend it or anything. I just had genuine questions. I wanted to know what the difference was, how people lived before and after.
But I think my line of questioning might have been a little after I had already rejected the shapes and everything. I think it might have been a little bit prying. And so she was like, "But we don't have to talk about that. Let's not talk about it." And I was like, "All right, that's
I agree. Let's not
fair
talk
enough.
about the cave and keep talking about my questions. So
And
she
so
did. She pulled back from the questions about like the old.
Yeah, but I mean, it might have just been because, like, she thought I was going to be weird about it. Like, I don't know. Maybe she's gotten tourists before. They're like, tell me about all the tragic details. I want to know.
Yeah.
What fucked up things happened? Tell me. Or I could be the other way. I could be like, and isn't that great? Isn't socialism what you really want? Cave tour guide lady? You know, she probably just didn't want to fucking get involved with politics.
Right.
And I wasn't interested in the politics of it. I just wanted, I wanted to hear her perspective.
And she was just like, I just wanted to talk about the bird rock.
I'm here to talk about caves. Please stop trying to interact with the locals. You condescending, stupid American.
So what was it like to live in the Soviet bloc? Well, I tell you what, the cave was pretty good then, and it's pretty good now.
Well, she was probably thinking, I am 24 years old, and I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Why are you asking me? But then we ended up talking about California, and
She was like, what are the caves like out there?
I was like, very poor. The caves here are so much better, and that made her happy, and then we ended the tour on a high note.
We ended the tour going, how the fuck do we get out of this cave? But yeah, what'd she ask about California?
I mean, all the normal questions about California are like, is it nice? Is it sunny? Are there beaches? Yes. And then the other person who asked the questions is happy.
Yeah.
They love to hear about how California's nice.
Be funny.
Is California nice? Yes. Okay, goodbye. Thank
Be
you,
funny if you're just, like-
Californian person.
It must suck if you're like from Modesto or something, and someone's like, "Oh, did you see a lot of beaches and Hollywood stars?" And it's like, "Yeah."
Sure.
You just think back to your like studio apartment next to 7-Eleven in Modesto, and you're like, "Oh yeah, there's beaches."
Well, on that note, I think we are done talking about Budapest.
All right.
Any last minute commentary or questions? Any good way we can end this fucking nightmare?
Pussy.
Pussy. Pussy, Kevin.
Pussy, Derek.
Bilincsben él, aki téged így szeret. Bilincsben él, aki téged